welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me once again for some more real estate content. So this week's video is going to be a little bit different from what I normally upload. We're going to be talking about activities and things that you can do in Portland, Oregon. I'm super excited to film this video. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I had a really good time compiling a list of all the different things that I love to do here in Portland, so I'm really excited to share all of that with you guys. Now, this list is by no means exhaustive. There are so many different things that you can do in Portland, and there's just no way that I can cover them all in one video. Maybe in the future I can make a part 2, but in this video I'm really just going to be talking about places that I love to visit, so hopefully you will love them as well. We've got activities that range through a variety of categories. We've of course got food, restaurants, cafes, desserts, ice cream, all of that good stuff, as well as parks, hiking, different historic destinations that you can go to. So I really think that there's something for everybody in this list. So yeah, let's just jump right in. We're gonna start off by talking about parks and hiking. This is probably my favorite category, and the Pacific Northwest is a wonderful place to explore the outdoors. Now, of course, I have to start our list and this section off by telling you about the cherry blossoms at Tomahawk Waterfront Park. At the time I'm filming this, it's April, so we're in the middle of spring and the trees are in full bloom. So I highly recommend that you take a walk along the waterfront and check them out. If you're from Portland or you have friends that live in Portland, I'm sure you've been seeing these trees all over your Instagram feed, but I highly recommend that you go see them. This particular activity is completely free, and I'll have the address and other information that you may need to know in the description box down below, so definitely go see these trees before they're gone. The second location in this category is Cathedral Park. My husband and I actually took our wedding photos here. It's such a beautiful location. It's right under St. John's Bridge. It's got big, beautiful arches and a large staircase. It's perfect for a sunny day if you want to have a picnic. And we've even seen people do their actual wedding ceremonies here. So it's definitely very beautiful. You should absolutely go check it out. And again, this activity is also completely free. The next location in this category is Crystal Springs Rhododendron Garden. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. For this particular garden, there is a $5 admission fee, but children that are 10 years old or under get to go in for free. There are so many amazing gardens here in Portland, and I'm excited to tell you about them, but Crystal Springs is definitely one of the more affordable ones, and it's also very beautiful, so I highly recommend that you check it out. Our next location is Laurelhurst Park, one of my personal favorites, perfect for taking a walk, having a picnic on a nice sunny day. It's got a pond with some geese, very beautiful, and it is free to visit. Next, we've got the International Rose Test Garden, also known as Washington Park, and this garden is just phenomenal. It's got over 10,000 rose bushes that bloom between April and October, with the peak being in June. So I highly recommend going during the peak when all the roses are in full bloom because it's just absolutely beautiful. Next, we've got Peninsula Park, which is also a rose garden. It's not as big as the International Rose Test Garden, but it's just as beautiful. I accidentally stumbled upon it on my drive home from school one day, and it's amazing. It's got a fountain in the center and a gazebo and a ton of beautiful rose bushes. Next, we've got Pittock Mansion, which is this insane 1914 French Renaissance mansion. Very historic and popular in the Portland area. If you go, I recommend booking a tour so that you can actually see what the home looks like on the inside, but you can also go and just hang out outside. It's gorgeous on the outside as well. You can sit on the lawn and take a look at the city views. They're absolutely stunning. Next, we've got Forest Park, which features a hike to something called the Witch's Castle. It's super cool. It's this old stone building with no roof that's just surrounded by dense woodland. The hike to get up to it is fairly short and easy. My friend and I had a picnic here once and it was amazing. Next, we've got Lan Su Chinese Garden, and unfortunately the last time I went here was when I was in elementary school on a field trip, but it was amazing and I really hope to go again sometime soon. And the website describes it as a tranquil botanical garden featuring rare plants native to China, decorative stonework, and a tea shop. The admission for adults is $12.95. For seniors age 62 and over, it's $11.95. And for students that come in with an ID, it's $9.95. And of course, children 5 and under are free. Next, we've got Sauvie Island, which could be a whole video in and of itself. It's one of the largest river islands in the country. It's got hiking, you pick farms, beaches. It does require a $10 day use permit, but there are so many different things that you can do. So I will definitely link the website to Sauvie Island in the description box down below so that you can check out everything that it has to offer. We've typically gone there to do bonfires and hang out on the docks, but there are so many different options, so it's a great place to check out. Next, we've got Oneida Falls, which is one of my favorite hikes, hands down. Now, Oneida Falls is not accessible by trail. You must walk up the creek bed over a large and perhaps unstable log jam through the gorge and up to your waist or even your torso in water until you finally see the falls. By the time we actually got to the waterfall, we were fully swimming in the water. And when you go, I really recommend wearing water shoes because you're stepping over, again, the log, tons of different rocks, so you want to make sure that you're being safe, but the view is definitely worth it. And before I forget to mention, this hike is 0.8 miles round trip, so it's not very long, but the challenging part is definitely wading through the water to actually get to the waterfall. Next, we've got Silver Falls, which is located a little outside of Portland, and I know some of the places that I have mentioned aren't in the direct Portland metro area, but they're not too far, so if you're in Portland, you might as well check these places out as well. Silver Falls features 10 waterfalls, it's 3 miles round trip, and you do have to pay $3 in order to park your car there. Next, we've got Latourell Falls, which holds a special place in my heart. My husband and I took our engagement photos here. It's very beautiful. The actual hike itself is very short and easy. It doesn't take very long to actually get to the waterfall, and it's about 2.4 miles round trip. Next, we've got Waukelela Falls, which is also a fairly easy hike, and this one is 2 miles round trip. Some of these hikes may potentially be closed right now, so I would check the website and I'll link all of the resources down in the description box below so that you can make sure it's open before you head out. Next, we've got swimming in the Sandy River, and the best place to do this is at Lewis and Clark State Park. We also took some engagement photos here, which I'll put up on the screen, and this place is perfect for getting some swimming in on a nice summer day. Next, we've got the hike at Angel's Rest, which is a rugged gorge cliff at around 1,500 feet with a hiking trail, waterfalls, river, and mountain views. And this one is 4.8 miles round trip. So definitely a little bit longer. This hike I would probably say is moderate, but the views are amazing. I would recommend going either at sunset or at sunrise. We went at sunrise and it was just so beautiful to see the sun come up behind the tree line. Next is Rooster Rock State Park. I've been to so many family reunions and church picnics at this particular park. It's very large, it's got river access. The sunset views here are beautiful, so if you're looking for a state park to visit, this is the perfect one. Next, we've got Marine Drive, which is a little bit vague as a destination. Essentially, there's a bike trail that goes along Marine Drive and it looks out onto the Columbia River, so you can go there for swimming, to do a bonfire, to bike, walk, roller skate, whatever it is that you do. This area is perfect. It's also right across from the airport, so I love going here and having a picnic right near where the airplanes are taking off and landing. It's one of my favorite things to do, so if you're in Portland, definitely visit Marine Drive. Next, we've got Vista House, which is certainly an iconic viewpoint, and I'm going to take a quick excerpt from their website because I think this is just a perfect explanation of Vista House. It says, since 1918, this regal site has enthralled millions of travelers. From its surrounding vantage point, 733 feet above the Columbia River and overlooking the busy I-84, countless sightseers and photographers have enjoyed a step back in time and one of Oregon's most inspiring views. And truly, no matter how many times I go here, it's so beautiful and amazing every single time. I recommend going at sunset because that's when you get some of the most amazing views. Since we're talking about viewpoints, the next place that I wanted to tell you about is the Rocky Butte Overlook. It's got an amazing city view. It has steps leading up to this castle tower-like viewpoint with a park and like this grassy lawn in the center. I love to go at night because that's really when you can see the city the best, but it's also beautiful during the day. Next, we've got Punch Bowl Falls, which is a waterfall on the Eagle Creek Trail in the Columbia River Gorge. It's an amazing waterfall, and this particular hike is 3.8 miles round trip. Next, we've got the Grotto, which is also known as the National Sanctuary of Our Sorrowful Mother. This is a Catholic outdoor shrine and sanctuary. It's a beautiful garden. You do have to pay for admission, but it is worth it. It's a beautiful place to visit. And finally, we have to finish this section off with Multnomah Falls, whether you want to call it iconic or basic. I've even heard somebody call it the Eiffel Tower of Portland, Oregon. Regardless, it's still beautiful, and what's great about it is you don't actually have to hike to see the waterfall. As soon as you pull up, it's there. You can get a really good look at it. So it's perfect if you're trying to take somebody older, maybe your grandparents that can't really hike, but they still want to see an amazing waterfall and a beautiful view. So Multnomah Falls is an absolute must if you're coming to Portland, Oregon. All right, you guys, that section was so long, but it's truly my favorite. The outdoors in the Pacific Northwest are a gem. It's amazing. So if you are new to the area, or even if you've lived here for a long time, but you've never seen some of these spots, definitely go. You won't regret it. They're so beautiful. All right, so now let's move on to the food section. There are so many different categories within this category, but I'm just going to be going along one by one and talking about all of my favorite places to eat in Portland. So as far as breakfast goes, my favorite place to eat is Pine State Biscuit by far. They are amazing. Their biscuits are just absolutely incredible. I always get a biscuit with apple butter no matter what I'm ordering. Even if I'm having like a full meal, I always get a biscuit. They're delicious. Everything that I've tried off of their menu has been amazing. I've had their hash browns and their chicken pot pie. I've had their blueberry cornmeal pancakes, which are just out of this world. I can't praise them enough. Pine State Biscuit is amazing. You should absolutely check it out. They're perfect for breakfast or brunch. I believe they close at 1 in the afternoon, so you'll definitely have to go earlier in the day, but it's so worth it. Pine State Biscuit is incredible, and it should absolutely be one of your first pit stops when you come to Portland. Next up in our breakfast section is the Waffle Window, which is also amazing. They serve sweet and savory waffles. They also have a couple different locations, and they're also one of my favorite breakfast locations in Portland. Now, if you're looking for lunch or dinner, Portland also has a lot of amazing options in that category. My first recommendation would be Porque No. They've got amazing Mexican food. My husband and I love to order the Brian's Bowl. It's kind of like the Chipotle Bowl, but way better. It's really delicious, so that's what I would get if I go to Porque No. Next, we've got Portland City Grill, which is iconic. It's located on the 31st floor of the Big Pink. The city views are absolutely incredible. Try and get a window seat if you go, and this is more for formal dinners. It's perfect for date night, anniversaries, birthdays. They have amazing food. And for dessert, I would definitely order the cookies with ice cream if you still have room for dessert, because it's delicious. Another one of my favorites is Nicholas. They've got amazing Lebanese food. I believe they're located in Troutdale, but if not, I'll put the correct address in the description box as well as up on the screen. But they've got just the most delicious Lebanese food. Next, we've got Chart House, which is also kind of a Portland City Grill type of vibe. They've also got amazing views and really good food. Next, we've got the Melting Pot, and people kind of have mixed opinions on this particular restaurant, but I think that if you haven't gone, you should absolutely go. It's a very unique experience. It's a little bit different in that when you go and you order your food, they'll bring you raw meat that you then cook in this pot that's in the middle of your table that's filled with hot oil. So it's a little bit weird, but it's a cool experience. If I were to go again, I would probably just go for dessert. The dessert was amazing. They just give you like a plate of these different finger foods like cakes and fruits. And then in that same pot, they'll have white chocolate and dark chocolate. When we went, it was kind of like in this yin-yang sign. And then you just dip all of your desserts into that pot full of chocolate, and that was amazing. It was so delicious. Next, we've got Papa Haydn, which is pretty famous for its Viennese-inspired cakes. The cake is probably the main reason that I go, but they also have really good dinner options as well. Next, we've got Petit Provence, which is a French restaurant and bakery. I mostly go there for the cake and the desserts, but their dinner is really good as well. Next one is one of my absolute favorites. It's called Civilized Thai. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's an amazing Thai restaurant in Southeast Portland. The waiters and waitresses there are absolutely incredible. The service is exceptional, and I love that they bring little samples to your table before you order your food. It's just such a sweet touch, and their food is absolutely amazing. Next, we've got Little Big Burger, which is pretty straightforward. They just have delicious burgers and fries. You can't go wrong. Another one of my favorite places to eat in Portland is Ozzy's Deli and Gyros. They have amazing Mediterranean food. They used to be located at Mall 205, but now they're inside of the Adventist Medical Center at the Pavilion, and I'll have the address and everything in the description down below. Their gyros are just absolutely to die for. As far as Mediterranean food goes, the Sultan Cafe is also really delicious. It's located in Northwest Portland, and it also has really amazing gyros. And of course, you can't go wrong with food carts. One of my favorite locations for food carts in the Portland area is 102nd and Stark, and one of my favorite food carts in that particular section is called Los Arcos. They've got amazing burritos. They are just $6, I believe, and they're so good. It's always my go-to. They also have a Thai garden with really great Thai food, and a place called Grill on the Go with amazing Mediterranean food. We've also got Elephant's Delicatessen. They've been in Portland since 1979. It's a classic Portland deli, gives off very strong Portland vibes, and they have just amazing food. My go-to order was always tomato soup and grilled cheese. As far as ice cream goes, my favorite places are Salt and Straw and Ruby Jewel. Salt and Straw is really famous for their unique flavors, while Ruby Jewel is more famous for their ice cream sandwiches. They're both delicious. My favorite flavors to order at Salt and Straw are honey lavender and salted malted chocolate chip cookie dough. I get a double scoop in a waffle cone, and I always make sure to put honey lavender on the bottom. That's just the way that I like it, and those two flavors are amazing. As far as donuts, my favorite places are Pips, Blue Star Donuts, and Voodoo Donuts. At Blue Star, I love getting the lemon poppy buttermilk old-fashioned donut and the chocolate almond ganache. They are amazing. To close off this section, I've got a few more dessert places that I love to go to. One of them is Les Happy. They are a creperie and they have amazing sweet and savory crepes. They're open till midnight on weekdays and till 1:30 a.m. on weekends. I also love the Babushka Cafe. They are a Russian cafe located in Troutdale, Oregon, and they have amazing bulichki, which, if you know, is an amazing Russian pastry. So if you haven't tried them, I would absolutely go. They have amazing pastries and coffee. Barista also has amazing coffee and pastries. Presso is another one of my favorite cafes. They have a Portland location as well as a Vancouver, Washington location. Again, great coffee, great pastries, and a really beautiful interior design in each of their cafes. Finally, I love Ovation. They're located in the Pearl District. They've got amazing Moroccan coffee and tea. Now, a few places that didn't fit into either one of those categories perfectly, but are still really cool to check out, are Powell's City of Books. It's just a huge bookstore. It's a really great place to go to, and if you are a book lover, you should definitely go. If you haven't been to OMSI, which stands for the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, it's also a great place to go, especially if you've got kids. I remember all of the OMSI field trips when I was in school. They were always so much fun. They've got different exhibits going on all the time, so if you haven't been to OMSI, you should absolutely go. Then, of course, we've got the Oregon Zoo. It's a 64-acre zoo located in Washington Park, and it's amazing. Again, if you have kids, you should absolutely take them to the zoo. Alright, you guys, that is the video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely had so much fun talking about all of my favorite places in Portland. If you're from the area and you have places that you love to visit, definitely leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful or beneficial, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications so that you get notified every time I upload. Follow me on my Instagram, which is @IrinaD, and on TikTok, which is @IrinaDPDXRealty. I post a lot of real estate content on there, as well as posting all of my different adventures around Portland, so if any of that interests you, definitely follow me on there. Make sure to tune in next Thursday. I upload a video every Thursday, and next week we should be back to our regularly scheduled real estate videos. All right, you guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!